I want to ask you a question. Have you ever caught yourself saying, I am not money driven, and felt oddly proud of saying it? So, when a woman says, I want more money, it disrupts generations of cultural programming. But that disruption, that friction that is created, is where the power lives. Because you can be soul driven, you can be heart driven, and money driven.
Sabrosura pa' ti que.
Hello, everyone. This is Pam, your host of Café con Pam, the bilingual podcast, exploring stories that inspire Latine and people of the global majority to embrace their voice, challenge calladita culture, and step into their power. Aquí en Café con Pam, we celebrate those who break barriers, change lives, and make the world a better place. El día de hoy, it's just you and me. I want to ask you a question. Have you ever caught yourself saying, I am not money driven, and felt oddly proud of saying it? Or maybe you felt safe, like it protects you somehow. Well, in today's episode, we are going to talk about precisely that statement. I'm not money driven, because it might actually be hurting you more than it is helping you. We're going to explore how the wound of worth and the wound of power show up when you say that, how cultural and gender expectations have shaped your beliefs around money, and how it's time to reclaim what it means to be driven by financial wellness and expansion. Bueno, cuando la gente dice, I'm not money driven, it usually sounds humble, like, I do it for the love, not for the money. I do it for the cause, not for the money. But underneath, there's often shame. There's often fear. What truly is there is a programming that told us we shouldn't want more. Let's think about it. The phrase is often a survival mechanism because in our culture, we are many times taught that when we think money, that is an association to greed or selfishness, many times culturally speaking. So I want to name a truth that is present in every culture I've worked with personally. So I'm speaking for myself. Men are expected to want more. Women and femmes are expected to be content with less. That's just the truth. In our families, the boys get encouraged to chase success, and the girls, well, they are praised. We are praised for being helpful, for being quiet, and for being accommodating. So when a woman says, I want more money, it disrupts generations of cultural programming. But that disruption, that friction that is created, is where the power lives. That is precisely where we begin to heal the idea that we should be okay with the crumbs when we are meant for so much more. Now let's look at what's really going on when we say, I am not money driven. And I want to tell you that this episode was inspired by at least a handful of conversations that I had in the last month with different people in different contexts, all women who said, I'm not money driven. And so this is what inspired this episode. So looking at it from the wound of worth, the wound of worth says you're not valuable enough to ask for more. The wound of worth says you should stay grateful for what you have. And the wound of worth says, don't rock the boat. Just accept the bare minimum or be humble. Like, estoy tratando de traducir, pero a veces es así como que, por lo menos tienes. Like, be grateful that you have that. The wound of power says, don't be too loud. Don't shine too bright. Don't threaten the status quo. And the thing, those are two of the 5 wounds of Calleta culture. And these wounds are internalized through culture, through family, through religion, and even society. They keep us small and they keep us silent. And the worst part is that they are masked and dressed up as humility. Let's talk about something we all deserve: financial empowerment. Whether you're tackling debt, planning for retirement, or starting that dream business, navigating your finances can feel overwhelming. But it doesn't have to be, thanks to Savvy Ladies. Savvy Ladies is a nonprofit organization dedicated to helping women like you take control of your financial future. They offer free resources, webinars, and my favorite, a free financial helpline where you can connect one-on-one with trusted financial experts. And yes, it's completely free. Whether you're just starting your financial journey or need guidance on a specific challenge, Savvy Ladies is here to provide quality and trusted advice you can count on. So why wait? Visit savvyladies.org today and connect with the financial helpline to get the personalized support you deserve. Your journey to financial independence starts here. That is savvyladies.org. Your path to financial freedom can start today. So how do we reclaim what it means to be money driven? I'm inviting you to create a new definition of what being money driven is. And this could look like you are driven to create safety and stability. You are driven to heal generations of financial trauma. You are driven to have choices, freedom, and ease. You are driven to give back, to build, and to support others. Because you can be soul driven, you can be heart driven, and money driven. You can be of service and want abundance because it's not an either or, it's a both and. So let's get practical. Here are 3 things you can do to start shifting this belief. Número uno, of course, journaling is the simplest, the one that you have the most access to, because all you need is a piece of paper and a pen, or even your computer and a Word document. And the prompt here is to ask yourself, if I allowed myself to be money driven, I would. And then let your heart speak. See what truths bubble up from that. And this is a prompt that is with it's I would, because the invitation is for you to consider it being a possibility. Número dos, take the Calladita culture quiz. This will help you find out which wound may be holding you back. There are 5, remember. The wound of silence, the wound of worth, the wound of commitment, the wound of identity, and the wound of power. So today we talked about 2, the wound of worth and the wound of power. But who knows? You might have another wound that might be keeping you and holding you back. So take that. It's on the show notes. Really easy, relatively simple and fast to get you started on the process. Práctica número 3 is to practice a money affirmation, an abundance affirmation this week. And we could do this with tapping. If you are watching on YouTube, it's a relatively simple. All you need is to tap on the side of the hand. And while you do this, you can do this as soon as you wake up. You can do this as soon as you sit on your desk. You can do this before a phone call, because the side of the hand point is really powerful. And you can simply say, it is safe for me to want more. I am allowed to desire money. I use my money for good. I deserve. I am worthy. It's mine. And that's it. And you can say it, repeat it 3 times is the recommendation. But listen, sometimes you just have 10 seconds. That alone can get you a little bit grounded. That alone can help you connect back to your body. So the takeaways for today, saying, I'm not money driven, might feel safe, but it could be hiding fear or self-protection. The wound of worth and the wound of power teach us to stay small, but healing the wounds can actually set you free. And of course, the work starts very little and it's a work in progress. We're always a work in progress. So don't expect things to change immediately. And we need to normalize women and femmes saying, I want to thrive, and saying, I want abundance, I want wealth. Because there's no shame in wanting more. There's power in owning your desires. So we covered a lot today, from the cultural roots to financial shame to the internal wounds that shape our beliefs. If this episode made you feel seen, my invitation is for you to, of course, follow the three practices that I shared. Of course, take the Galleta Culture quiz, which is step number 2. Share the episode with a friend who may need to hear it. I would love it if you tag me on when you share your journal letter or when you share your affirmation, because I would love to support you in what you are reclaiming. If you want more support on this journey, then you can also join us inside Gather Circle. And this is a place where we unlearn Calladita culture together. We build a life of healing, support, power, and self-trust. Y bueno, muchísimas gracias por escuchar. If this podcast has ever inspired you, there are so many additional ways to support it. It means a lot for you to take the time. You can leave a rating and or review on your podcast app. You can subscribe on YouTube. You can share the episode. I already asked you this with someone you love. You can join the Supporters Club to get exclusive content, and it's for only $5 a month. So you basically buy me a coffee every month. And that allows us to continue creating these types of episodes and content at no cost to you. You can also hire me to speak at your organization or company. Let's bring these conversations to even more people because we are so deserving and worthy of that abundance. Let's stay connected on the socials at Café con Pan Podcast on all the places and spaces. Muchas gracias por escuchar. Nos vemos pronto y sigue brillando.
Sabrosura pa' ti que